In this unit, we will study electrochemistry, which is the study of reactions that involve electrochemical changes, and therefore they are systems that involve electricity. We're looking at spontaneous reactions that actually produce electricity, or non-spontaneous reactions that need electricity in order to occur. The basic reactions that are occurring here are called oxidation reduction reactions. And there are lots of common examples such as the rusting of iron, the action of bleach on stains, and photosynthesis that are oxidation reduction reactions and involve the transfer of electrons from one species to another. The first examples of reactions that were studied of this type among scientists involved oxygen. The combustion of fuels and the reaction of metals with oxygen to give oxides were described as oxidation. So something like iron reacting with oxygen to form rust was called oxidation because it was the addition of oxygen that was causing the reaction. Removing oxygen from metal oxides to give their metals was described as reduction. So for example, if a metal ore was extracted from the ground and the pure metal was extracted from that, the metal ore was said to have been reduced to its elemental form. So this is where the terms oxidation and reduction come in. Further studies showed that there are actually many more reactions that involve this more general phenomenon, which is where electrons are being transferred from one substance to another. So for example, in the iron example, when iron reacts with oxygen to form rust, as you know from looking at this, we're forming an ionic compound. The iron here is changing from having no charge to having a positive charge. And so in the process of oxidation, the iron has actually lost electrons. The reverse process, or removing the oxygen from the ore or from the rust, would involve reduction or a gain of electrons. So when we speak generally about oxidation reduction reactions, oxidation is the process of losing electrons, while reduction is the process of gaining electrons. There's a mnemonic device that you can use to help you remember this, and that is Leo the lion says grr. Loss of electrons is oxidation, gain of electrons is reduction. Now we have studied oxidation reactions at several points during our study of chemistry. So for example, when we look at single displacement reactions or lots of synthesis reactions, like the formation of an ionic compound, these often involve a loss and gain of electrons or a transfer of electrons. Now, one of the things when we're studying oxidation reduction reactions that you're going to find that we do is that we split the reactions into what are called the half reactions. So we look at the oxidation and the reduction reactions separately from one another. So if we look at the case of sodium chloride being formed, so the reaction of sodium plus chlorine to form sodium chloride, we can look at the two half reactions that are occurring here. So in this case, the sodium is reacting to form sodium ions. So the sodium is forming sodium ions. In the process, it has lost an electron. So an electron is a product in this particular half reaction. In the case of chlorine, the chlorine is gaining electrons to form chlorine ions. So its reduction half reaction shows that it's gaining electrons, or the electrons are essentially a reactant in this process. So this reaction is the oxidation half reaction, and this reaction is the reduction half reaction. Now we can also refer to substances as either being the oxidizing agent or the reducing agent. The oxidizing agent is the substance that is allowing something to be oxidized. So it's allowing something to lose electrons. So therefore, it is the substance that is reduced. By gaining electrons, an oxidizing agent allows a substance to be oxidized. So in this case, the chlorine is the oxidizing agent. The reducing agent is the opposite. It's the one that donates the electrons, and in this case, it is the sodium. Okay, this is another example here of a burning strip of magnesium. The magnesium atoms are losing electrons to become cations, and the oxygen molecules are gaining electrons in the formation of the oxide.